What's going on, everybody? LK here, back at it again with another video, and today some more Dragon Ball FighterZ for y'all. Ultra Instinct Goku has been out for about a month at this point. When this character came out, there were a lot of heated opinions about this character, especially saying that he was broken, busted, easily the best character, etc. I disagree, so I am making this video just going over how he's developed over the past month so far. If you like the content I'm putting out, consider liking this video or subscribing to the channel if you already have not, or do both. It does help the channel grow and I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, so Ultra Instinct Goku. So as an aside, before I even start with anything talking about him, I do actually think he is a really strong character. He is pretty much the best example of a counter style character in this game so far. He has a lot of ideas that other characters have, like he has like stuff that Videl has, he has stuff that Hit has, he has stuff that Jiren has, but it's expressed in different ways, and they gave him some extra stuff to accent not only the character itself, Ultra Instinct Goku, like stuff from the show, but also that counter playstyle, which I think is pretty interesting. I think probably he's sitting around like top 7, top 10 or so. I haven't really finalized where I feel he is, but I definitely think he's in the top group of characters. Again, this video is more about how he's not unreasonably broken or anything. Okay, so first let's talk about neutral. So pretty much it's worked out the way I thought it would for the most part. He has a few counters just from neutral straight up, right? So he's got the walk, he's got 6H, he's got the projectile movement, this one, the stance movement. Now on top of that, he has some pretty unique tools on his own. His ki blasts are a little bit different. They are really easy to hit confirm, which is nice. Now what kind of ended up working out is that if you really know or have a read on what your opponent likes to do, you can use things like 6H or the stance movement in neutral to move around. But if not, you do pretty much play a pretty traditional neutral game with him. He does benefit a lot from having strong full screen assists, because he has moves like this and stuff, but it's not like he's totally ignoring the game when he's walking forward like this, or trying to 6H you, or even doing this. These all have responses, and when he doesn't have assists covering them, it is quite risky to do these things, especially because they're clear responses to all of them. So we can also look at his assists. His A assist is his DP, it's 22S. A really good assist overall. You basically lock a portion of the screen out with hitbox. It reaches all the way to the top of the screen. It's very easy to hit confirm, good block, so it's all around a really good assist. So his B assist is a beam. It's kind of like cells, but I think it's a little bit worse. But that being said, people do use this if they don't have another beam available. It's still kind of nice to have too. It still covers screen, helps you control the screen. Whether or not it's better or worse than A, I kind of think A is better for what it does. But if you're missing this slot and you don't want to use a C assist beam, or if you don't want to get like a Trunks or Yamcha or Krillin or Goku Black, any of those characters who have beams or beam-like assists, it is a decent option. Now, to be honest, his C assist, I don't have a really high opinion of. It's a tracking assist, but the tracking is not that good, as you can see. It's kind of hard to use, so you have to like do something and call him. You can't just call him, so it doesn't work the same as other anti-air C assists really. Now, a good thing about his C assist is that on hit, it pulls you in like this, right? So some characters have the ability to do things where you pull them out of the corner if you use it. I don't actually have the exact list of characters that do this. It's pretty small, if I recall correctly. But again, he has the ability to do this. Usually you have to bring him to the top of the screen. I just did it real quick. That's pretty much the main thing that's good about his C assist, is that he sets up these type of four-way mix-ups off level 3s for a lot of characters. So offense-wise, a great thing about him offense-wise is that he has a bunch of things that are pretty important in the game. He does have a command grab, even though it's like slow on paper. It's out of the stance, so it's pretty quick. He can make himself plus if he wants. Depending on the type of assist you use too, he can mix you up different ways, which makes him very flexible. So if you have a high blocks and assist, you could do stuff with like his 2H, it's a high lows, right? That C assist I have has a lot of blocks and it's like 50 frames, so you could do a lot of stuff just going airborne like that. And if you have a low blocks and assist, you could choose to use the stance. So for example, you could do something like this, right? You could be a little bit creative. You could use that along with this is either create plus frames, you could command grab them, you can cross them up and use Kamehameha. It's a little bit more expensive because you need a bar to confirm the beam if you choose to do that, but it's still good, and you could do it for lob assist, so it makes him really flexible on a team. He could work with a lot of characters, so this is similar to characters like Trunks, GT Goku last season, etc. Now, of course, defense is what he really shines in, and he's a character that really excels in common situations in Dragon Ball. One thing about this game is that there are a lot of common repeated situations where you're either like even or slightly advantageous, and he is super strong on defense in these places because of his defensive options. Between him having a DP and a 4-frame invincible move, and he has 6H, so he can dice roll you a lot. He could also use his reversal parry as well, and then after some of his choices, like this, he can choose to force another guess on you by special canceling into the parry. On top of that, he has the invincible tech, which I'll go into a little bit more. So when you do any of these common things, so things like making them block overhead, or making them block vanish, making them block super dash, the defended UI Goku player is extremely strong in these situations. Now, where he's a little bit weaker on defense would be on knockdown. So again, this is something you have to practice, but when you knock him down, you can usually cover pretty much everything he does as long as you set up the right way. Remember that meeting with a projectile or using an assist is probably the best way of going about this. So I showed this in another video when he came out, but using something like that to cover yourself and then reacting to what he does after is a really good way of dealing with this. The main reason why you can do stuff like this is because on knockdown you're so advantageous that he can't dice roll you so easily. I'll have a link in the description below to the previous video I did about fighting him, where I talk about all the responses you can do to deal with his defensive options, especially on knockdown, because it is definitely your turn. He can still try to like make you guess, but you're in way more control of it than when you do something like a vanish or like a super dash or something like that. Okay, so that's pretty much where he's at as far as his tools. Overall, I do think he's very strong, like I said at the beginning of the video, but I think that people who are saying he's the best character are broken, are really overhyping the character at the moment, and they probably have not taken the time to learn how to fight him well. I didn't even touch stuff like how good he is at extending combos and stuff like that, but a lot of characters are good at that, you know, so I didn't think it was like something extra outstanding for him. Now, one thing about him for sure is that he's a character that you can't learn how to play against just playing him. Like, you really actually do need to go into training mode and practice against him, because again, a lot of these things that he has on defense, they do have specific responses that you can do, but I don't think you would figure it out just playing. Again, I do have a video already on how to deal with some of these things, like how to deal with this into that, and how to deal with his invincible tech, shoulder rush, and unrestrained will, I think it's called. I feel like that is part of the reason why people think he's so like busted, or like, oh, his defensive options are just too good. If you think his neutral is also really overbearing, especially like the options like walking up and like 6H, it might be that your team is not good enough, because again, like tools like this or 6H or the stance movement they are basically telling you that they know how you're going to deal with this part of neutral. So if you have problems dealing with that, it's either your play's too linear or your team's not good enough at handling that kind of stuff. Like, your team is not well built. Also, you don't have to necessarily play top tier characters to have a well built team as well. So don't blame it on like, oh, I play Android 17, I can't beat him, or something like that. You're only allowed to do it if you play Ginyu. Hopefully that all makes sense. So as usual, leave any questions you may have in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you next time. Peace.